Hey everybody, I'm grafting mango today. Here's some tools you'll need over here. You'll need some pruning shears, okay? A sharp knife. I choose to use a box cutter. There are grafting knives out there available, but some of them cost $100 range. Some people use scalpel from Surgeon Scalpel. You can order those online. I'll use grafting tape. I get this from Amazon.com. Just type in grafting tape, it'll come up. This costs around 10 bucks and it lasts you a long time. Of course, you'll need your scions. These are scions that I picked 3 or 4 days ago. I store them in a cup of water and I store them at room temperature. That's how I keep my scions. And then you'll need some either isopropyl alcohol and some napkins. You could also use a bleach solution. I use this to clean my tools because when you're grafting, you're like a tree surgeon, and to prevent the spread of disease and bacteria and infection, you want to use some isopropyl alcohol to clean off your tools, okay? All right, let's get started. First step, what I'll do is I'll clean my tools. I just put some of that isopropyl alcohol in here and I cut. So I'll be using these pruning shears. So I cleaned them off. And then I'll be using some of these. Some more of it. To clean off my knife. Alright, that's it. Alright guys, I'm gonna wrap my scion. That's the first step, okay? So why graft? What's even the point of grafting? 2 reasons. First reason, you get fruit faster, okay? So if you plant a seed-grown mango, you might not even get fruit. Or you will get fruit, it'll take some time, maybe 5 years, and the fruit quality might not be so good. So you're taking a risk, you're gambling. But with grafting, you get guaranteed fruit. At least you get guaranteed flowering. And reason number 2 is you're getting a guaranteed variety. So in the plant world, you can clone plants. You can get exact copy. So think of like Michael Jordan or Cristiano Ronaldo. You can clone them, the plant versions of them in the plant world. So there are a Michael Jordan of mangoes. Whatever variety you like, that's the best one for you. You can clone that and create a field of Michael Jordans or Cristiano Ronaldos. And that's what you're doing with grafting. So there's my scion wood. It's wrapped. All right. So I'll make my cut here. And why I make my cut here is because the rootstock seems to be, it's actually thicker than the scion, but that's fine. So I'll cut there because it's a compatible space. There it is. There it is. Remove some of the leaves. All right. And now, take your scion, take your pruning shear, cutter, and cut right here. I only go down about 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches. You don't need to go down that deep. That's good, that's perfect. So here for the scion, you see how old it is? I want a fresh end, so I'll cut that. Get a fresh cut here. Actually, this part is old too, I'll get rid of that. And then, I'll make my cut. We're doing cleft graft today. There's one. There's 2. In fact, I want this a little bit longer, so I'll cut it again. there, and there. Yep, perfect. There's the idea. The idea is to have a narrow V-shaped wedge, just like that. All right. Now we'll insert it into our rootstock. In fact, let me get rid of these little fibers. There's a thin layer right there, right inside the bark, called the cambium layer. That's where all the cell growth happens. That's where plant growth occurs. The cambium layer of the scion has to touch the cambium layer of the rootstock, and the way you do that is you come to the edge of the rootstock, you find the edge, and you align the edge of the rootstocks with the edge of the scion, just like that. You see? Don't worry if it's all exposed and splayed out of the rootstock. We're gonna adjust it when we wrap it. And don't worry if there's some white part left from the scion either. It's okay. We'll adjust that as well. All right, there it is. Now all it takes is wrapping your graft together. And what this does is it forces contact between the rootstock and the scion, and you'll have a higher chance of success. The idea is to lock it all in, no exposed parts, and to make firm contact between the scion and the rootstock. That's why I'm putting extra layers of tape here, because I want to ensure that firm contact, because they have to touch, and the two have to touch, and they have to be hugging each other in order to get a good graft. There we go. I'm giving pressure with my fingers to really put it in. You can squeeze tight here. Now, this is an optional step to ensure firm contact. I use this very thin rope to tie it together. This is optional, you don't have to do this, but I'll show you guys how I do it. Wrap it only around the part that you grafted, not the scion. There you go. All right, guys. Best time to graft for me in this area is summer and fall. That's the best time to graft. Spring doesn't work because that's when mangoes are usually flowering, and grafting doesn't work for me when mangoes are in flower. So I do them in the summer and the fall. This will take about a month to show if the graft is good. It'll show in about a month. So you got to be patient. In fact, some grafts take even longer. I had a graft over here on this tree. This is also a mango tree that took about 2 months, 2 or 3 months to grow. I had given up, but one day it pushed out. So you got to be patient, okay? As long as your graft is green, as long as the scion is green, it's alive and it has a chance to grow. All right, everybody. So it's been 5 weeks, and this is what the graft looks like today. It has taken, and it has taken very, very well. Look at all this nice, beautiful new leaves. And here is the graft union. Let me zoom in here and show you guys how it has healed. There you go. So in the center you see where the scion was inserted, and then surrounding it is the rootstock. And you'll notice calluses growing on either side. That's a great sign. And this thing is good to go. Looking very beautiful. The same day I did a few other grafts, and they have not pushed yet. They're still green though, still alive, but just not any new leaves yet. So I don't know yet, the verdict's still out. This is what I'm talking about, the patience game. You gotta play that patient game, because this is grown very well, and this graft done on the same day, just taking its time. Each graft usually behaves differently. Some things you can do to help it along though, is you can periodically come out and check your graft here. Usually there'll be rootstock growth. New growth coming out from the rootstock that's the tree sending its energy towards its new growth and not towards the scion. So what you want to do is take it out. Let me show you an example of that. Here is some rootstock growth, new rootstock growth below the scion. So what I do is I just come and take it out, remove it, and that directs the tree's energy and its nutrients up towards the scion, the part I want it to take. And that right there is called, you see that hole through the grafting tape? That's called a false take. That's what I like to call a false take. So usually what happens is you do your graft, and then very quickly you see growth coming out, and which I saw here. And what that is it'll grow out a little bit and then just die back. So you think your graft's gonna take, but then it doesn't. So that's why I call it a false take. So what I usually do is I put some grafting tape over it and I let it grow out. It's still green, scion's still green, so it still has a shot, still has a chance to go. And yeah guys, that's the update. Over here, the variety that took is the Fairchild. I really, really love the Fairchild, and I'm really excited to have it on my tree. I'm very grateful. Thank you for the scionwood, Margaret. And yeah guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day.